Today I'm going through the Unit 10 test review. Number 1. Do the following lengths form a right triangle? We are simply going to use Pythagorean theorem, plug in the values, and see if it's true. 6 squared plus 8 squared equals 9 squared. 6 squared is 36 plus 8 squared, which is 64. Should equal 81. This is 100. It does not equal 81, therefore this is not a right triangle. Zoom in a bit. Did the following lengths form a right triangle? Again, Pythagorean theorem, plug in the values. If this formula turns out to be true, then it is a right triangle. Oops, 13 squared. 25 plus 144. It is in fact 169, and this is a right triangle. Do the following lengths form a right triangle? Again, 3 squared plus 4 squared should equal 5 squared. 9 plus 16 does in fact equal 25. Yes. Also, this is a Pythagorean triple. If you happen to see that, good on you. Find the missing lengths to the nearest hundredth. Pythagorean theorem, yet again, 4 squared plus 8 squared should equal c squared. C is always the hypotenuse across from the right angle. 16 plus 64. Square root, and c equals 8.94. Find the missing length. Again, Pythagorean theorem. Square root, c equals 6.71. Pythagorean theorem. Square root both sides. .21 equals c. Number 6. Again, we're searching for the hypotenuse. C equals 7.62. We are looking for the hypotenuse yet again. Square root. 7.28 equals c. So I could circle these. Number 8. Again, the hypotenuse is our missing piece. And c equals 6.32. Number 9. This time we are looking for one of the legs, or b, because this is a and this is c. So it'll be 5.3 squared plus b squared equals 7.2 squared. 28.09 plus b squared equals 51.84. We need to get b alone, so we need to subtract 28 from both sides. B squared is going to equal 23.75. Now we square root. B equals 4.87. Number 10. A, B, and C. This time we're looking for another leg. So we have a squared plus 2.7 squared equals 6.5 squared. Running out of room. Oop. Need to subtract 7.29 from both sides. A squared is equal to 34.96. Square root both sides, and A is equal to 5.91. Alright, find the missing links. I'm just going to erase this so I can see this problem. This time we're looking for the hypotenuse. So 2.7 squared plus 6.5 squared is equal to C squared. 7.29 plus 42.25 is equal to C squared. Add them together, you get 49.54 equals C squared. Square root, and C equals 7.04. Number 12, a 50-foot ladder is leaning against a wall to be able to reach the third-story window of a burning building. The ladder was placed 35 feet away. What is the height of the third-story window? As you can see, this is simply another Pythagorean theorem. This is C, A, and B. So we're going to do A squared plus B squared equals C squared. 35 squared plus B squared equals 50 squared. Subtract to get B alone. Square root, and B equals 35.71. 13. Find the measure of each angle indicated. This is the angle we're looking for. So we first need to label. Here's my opposite and my adjacent. So we were going to be using tangent of my angle is equal to 4 divided by 13. We need to get my angle alone. Therefore, we take the inverse. My angle is equal to the inverse tangent of 4 divided by 13. Plug that in the calculator, and your angle is equal to 17.10 degrees. Number 14, in order to walk to school, you must travel 8 blocks east and 6 blocks south around the houses. If you could walk directly to school from your house, how many blocks would you walk? This is now x, and we have another Pythagorean theorem. 8 squared plus 6 squared equals x squared. Solve it out, and x equals 10. Number 15, a nursery plants a new tree and attaches a guy wire to help support the tree while its roots take hold. An 8-foot wire is attached to the tree and to a stake in the ground. From the stake in the ground, the angle of elevation of the connection with the tree is 42 degrees. Find, to the nearest tenth of a foot, the height of the connection point on the tree. So we are looking for x right here. This is my angle. I'm going to label. I have opposite and hypotenuse, therefore I'm going to be using the sine of my angle is equal to the opposite over hypotenuse. The sine of 42 is 0.6691 approximately. Multiply both sides by 8, and you get x equals 5.35. Number 17, find the shadow cast by a 10-foot lamppost when the angle of elevation of the sun is 58 degrees. Find the length to the nearest tenth of a foot. This is my angle. We are looking for the adjacent side using the opposite side. Therefore, we're going to use tangent of 58 equals the opposite over the adjacent. Tangent of 58 is 1.6003. And that equals 10 divided by x. You need to multiply both sides by x. You get 1.6003x equals 10. Divide by both sides by 1.6003. And x equals 6.249. Looks like I accidentally skipped number 16, so we'll go back to that. Number 16, the sun creates a shadow from a flagpole 42 feet long. If the flagpole is 25 feet tall, how far away is the top of the flagpole to the top of its shadow on the ground? So we're looking for this length right here, which is simply Pythagorean theorem. 25 squared plus 42 squared equals x squared. Solve it out. And x equals 48.88 feet. Alright, now back to 18. A ladder leans against a brick wall. The foot of the ladder is 6 feet from the wall. The ladder reaches a height of 15 feet on the wall. Find, to the nearest degree, the angle the ladder makes with the wall. This angle is what we're looking for right here. So let's label. We have the opposite and adjacent. So we're going to use tangent of x is equal to the opposite divided by the adjacent. We need to take the inverse tangent of both sides. Those cancel out. We're left with x is equal to the inverse tangent of 6 divided by 15. Put that in your calculator and you get x equals 20.56 degrees. Find the measure of each angle indicated round to the nearest hundredth. This is my angle. I have the adjacent side and the hypotenuse, so I'm going to use cosine of my angle is equal to the adjacent divided by hypotenuse. I need to take the inverse. Therefore, theta is equal to the inverse cosine of 12 divided by 13. Plug it in your calculator. And theta equals 22.62 degrees. Number 20, find the measure of each angle indicated. This is my angle. I have the opposite and adjacent. So we're going to use tangent of theta is equal to the opposite divided by the adjacent. Inverse tangent of both sides. Those cancel out. Theta is equal to the inverse tangent of 11.9 divided by 10. Therefore, theta is equal to 49.96 degrees. Number 21. Find the measure of each angle indicated. Round to the nearest hundredth. This is my angle. I have the opposite and adjacent, so I will be using tangent of theta is equal to the opposite divided by the adjacent. Again, inverse tangent of both sides. These cancel out. Theta is equal to the inverse tangent of 7.7 divided by 14, which, if you put it in the calculator, is 28.81 degrees. That's where we're going to stop, and I will continue on in part 2 of Unit 10 review.